as a child, I was undiagnosed, and so it wasn't the easiest kid to raise. So I got sent to military school, where some people threaten their kids. No, that actually happened to me. In military school, for one bizarre reason or another, I was fumbling around in a closet in the band building, and I found these old sets of bagpipes and kilts, and I looked at it and went, I'm going to do something with this. And oh my God, boy, did I start doing something with it. Went to the band director, and he said, yes, we would love you to play bagpipes. There had been a bagpipe band at that school probably 30 years prior, and literally all that equipment was that old. And so they sent me to bagpipe camp, and if you can believe it, that there's actually a thing called bagpipe camp. So one time at bagpipe camp, well, anyway.
Oh my God. Ooh. Yeah, you blew that read, didn't you?
But that's really where my serious sense of musicianship started, was going to bagpipe camp and literally practicing bagpipes with about 100 other bagpipers for 6 weeks at a time, and it drove me a little crazy. I
imagine that would be a little hellish for the people listening when you don't quite have it down yet, and that many people who don't know how to play the bagpipes yet, all trying to play the bagpipes.
Exactly. It is hard to describe the cacophony. And this was in the mountains of North Carolina, so we weren't very close to anything except cows.
You could almost record all that and make it some sort of new avant-garde kind of thing.
But yeah, it's quite so. I also see it as kind of a revenge, because then I also went home and at the age of 14, having to practice bagpipes all the time, at least a couple hours a day. I think I got sent back to military school very quickly. Then after that, I just played bagpipes at that point. But after that, I got to college, and I kind of quit the bagpipe world because it's very conservative and not, to me, it wasn't a lot of fun. I went to college and found girls, and that was a lot more interesting. And I joined a medievalist group called the SCA, and there I went to my first event. They loved me playing bagpipes. I got to sing. I had a great time. I got drunk and kind of did that for a while. And through that organization, I did a lot of singing. I picked up a lot of other different instruments, and pretty much brings me today.
Wow. Woo-hoo.
So there you go.
All right. Miss Gabby?
She's away, so I'll answer this as a chase.
Okay.
Wait, here's Gabby. Here's Gabby.
Hi, what's our question?
Music. When did you start doing it?
When was I born?
July
13th.
93.
Yes. If you ask my mother, she will say that the first time that she thought that I was musically inclined was the first time that I watched Little Orphan Annie. I was 2 years old, and I didn't stop singing "The Sun'll Come Out Tomorrow" for like a solid year and a half. And then I learned "Love" by Frank Sinatra and wouldn't shut up about that. And then I think I was about 7, and I joined Sunshine Generation, which is a national singing dancing group.
What is that one song? Ragtime Cowboy Joe.
Yeah. So we did all sorts of oldies and redid them with kids singing and dancing, and it was wonderful. And then, I was always really involved in our music classes in school. I joined band first, actually. I was going to be a percussionist, and there were too many percussionists, so I picked up the clarinet, and I played the clarinet for 5 years through middle school. And while I was doing that, I was learning how to drum on my lunch breaks. I still sang on my own time, but I didn't really sing or start singing until my sophomore year of high school. And then I joined choir, and this wonderful, amazing woman that both Chase and I have had the pleasure of working with for a number of years, Mrs. Jolene Dalton Gailey, sparked this not only interest but this talent inside of me that I didn't know that I had. And I quickly progressed through high school choir from, measly women's choir, following along to my senior year. I was the soprano section leader of 2 elite select choirs. Ended up going to state and doing competitive singing, which was a great experience. Chase and I both got to go to New York together and sing in a number of amazing cathedrals. So St. Patrick's Cathedral, St. John's, we sang at the 911.
Ground Zero.
The 9/11 Ground Zero. A lot of, definitely, like, singing has brought me to a lot of places and allowed me to experience a lot of really amazing things. And, I left high school and kind of was just filling my need for music with singing in the shower and random nights at the bar singing karaoke. And I wound up at a bonfire. I was invited by a mutual friend to a bonfire that Marin and one of the original Boron player, Kelly, and Robert had already left, but
Robert was long gone.
Chase was there, Preston was there, and we were just hanging out, and I was talking to Marin, and they were looking for a lead singer, and I told them I wanted to audition. And then several hours later, when everybody was pretty inebriated, Chase and I went outside and were just messing around because we were in choir together for 4 years. We were just messing around. He picked up the guitar, we started singing, and Preston came outside and heard me singing and immediately told me,
"This is your audition."
Yes.
Really
very drunken. You want to sing this song. You sing this song. And he starts playing Fall For You by Secondhand Serenade super drunkenly on his guitar. And, of course, I know the whole song by heart. And so I'm singing along with him, and then he stops singing, and I sing the whole song on my own. And he gets super excited and runs inside of the computer and immediately messages Robert and tells him that he found the one. And
the unicorn.
The unicorn. That was the Saturday night. Wednesday, I came back over to the garage and had an audition. And the only song that I knew that they knew was Loch Lomond, which is now one of our most popular songs.
No, I'm pretty sure you did that at a bonfire on my property.
Loch Lomond I did for our audition in Kelly's garage, and I made Chuck cry.
Aww.
So my sister and I had performed it for my grandfather's funeral a month prior, and so it was really fresh in my memory. And so it was really great because we sang it all traditional, classically, and I made Chuck cry. Chuck's Marin's husband. He's a very tough man. He doesn't cry. And Robert got so excited that he started jumping up and down and jumping up and down. I was like, okay, let's try this. And he said, we're going to Rogues End it. And I didn't really know what that meant. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do what you do. He was like, that's exactly it. So, we start doing it again, and they kick up the beat, and they start rocking it out, and I started singing with them. And so we did a rocked out version of Loch Lomond, which was super fun. And then Robert said, I don't expect you to be able to do it anytime soon, but sometimes what we like to do with this song is we like to throw it into a minor. I don't think you could do it, but right now, you could probably learn it pretty fast, but sometimes we like to do Loch Lomond in a minor. And Preston said, she was taught by Jolene Dalton Gailey with Chase, and I've seen the things that Chase can do. Let's try it. And so they start playing Loch Lomond in a minor, and sure enough, I hop in and sing Loch Lomond in a minor.
Nice.
A couple days later, we had a bonfire out at Robert's property, and they told me that, that I was the one that they wanted to join the band. And I spent, the next 3 months, I think, every single day over at Robert's house, every day after work, learning new songs, writing new songs, bonding with band members. It was completely eye-opening and inspiring and a dream come true, and I pretty much owe, all of... well, not all, but a significant amount of my happiness to these guys. So, and this band.
Cool. Aww.
Oh, Gabby.
Group hug.
Okay. All right. Mr. Robert, you're next. How long you been a musician?
I taught myself to play fiddle around the same time I potty trained myself.
So when you were 12?
I had Yo, Neil's like, oh, you stole my line. Yeah. I had a very wonderful childhood with very few humans and a whole lot of animals, and I became an attention whore because I wasn't getting. And I realized that if I could play songs that people recognized, then all of a sudden the humans started liking me again. Now, the animals didn't give a shit, although the horses loved my music, and they were certainly my biggest fans. The attraction to music was the attention, and it was either 3 or 4, somewhere between 3 and 4. I don't know because nobody was paying attention at the time, but at some point it actually started sounding good. And at some point it actually sounded a little too good, and I started getting attention from the wrong places. And they're like, hey, this is what you have to do. When you have talent like this, you have to do this, 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 and this. And they started sapping all the fun out of it. And now, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the fact that as a teenager, I got to travel Europe representing Washington State at the World's Fair. And I enjoy the fact that symphony was very productive towards pointing me in the right direction musically. But I was never a symphonic player. I was always a fiddler. And when people say, who's your teacher? Where did you learn? I say, fuck, I'm still learning. If I like what someone's doing, I figure out what I like about it, and I try to emulate that into my own style. I isolate exactly what it is they do I like, and I try to figure out how I can incorporate that into what I'm doing. So when you don't have a teacher, the entire world is your teacher.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay.
So I guess that leaves me.
Yeah.
And the violin is possible.
Oh, okay.
If I live another 100 years, I might actually master the thing.
Wait, how old are you? 276?
If the thing that I love about the violin is that it completely humbles me. I'm not a very humble person. I'm a rather arrogant, but the violin is the one thing that keeps me humble, because that's the one thing I can never do perfectly. And every once in a while, I have to stop and realize, you know what? Other people obviously like what I'm doing, even though I still hear the things I could have done better.
Well, I think you're an A-OK fiddler. I think you're awesome.
You're A-OK.
I'm A-OK.
Smooth sailing from here.
All right, who we have left?
That just leaves me.
On a side note.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, just like Neil, I'm actually capable of playing any instrument, but the only one that plays me is the violin.
Ha 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 ha.
No, that's actually a very deep idea, but
don't get too deep.
Well,
it's really tough to climb out if you get too deep.
I'll do what I have to do. But so yeah, that leaves me with this question. Screw you, Danny.
Oh, you want fighting me?
So yeah, I started we all had that elementary crappy singing songs and playing the recorder and those weird sticks that play notes.
Those weird sticks that play notes.
You just smack them and it's like C. I think that was a C. Sorry. Whatever. So I started there, and as stupid as it sounds, I fell in love because I had a passion for it, and I was like, I want to be a music teacher.